For a while now, I've been actively looking for a way to channel my creativity and be able to reflect on it in a new way. I've always kept diaries, took photos and made videos, and often found myself looking back on what I'd collected of the creative work I'd done. Lately, I've wanted a new challenge, or I guess another creative goal to achieve. With making these videos, I don't only want to share what I do and I have done, but I also maybe want to tap into a community I haven't had the chance to experience yet. I also just really want to learn something new. As this is my first video, I have no idea where this is going to go or might end up. I want to enjoy the process of creating something while compiling a kind of memory of what I do anyway. I'd love to reflect on how I feel about using this medium in a few weeks or months' time, but for now I just want to have fun with it. In this first video, I'll be sharing some of the ways I've tried to be creative this winter. Creativity is quite a broad term and I'll be treating it that way. You might be seeing fiber arts or drawing or home renovations or something completely different. Anything that sparks my creativity might be included in future videos. So welcome to my channel. I hope you can wind down with me or find some inspiration or whatever you need here. I look forward to sharing more with you in the future. The first knitting project I took on this year was the baby bear suit by Knitting for Olive. One of my oldest friends, someone I used to live with, had his baby right before the year's end, and I knew I wanted to make something for them. This is actually my first gift knit ever that I can remember, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. I used Rowan Wool in this lovely green-blue colour, which I really enjoyed using. I don't have the best footage of this process, mostly because of the time crunch to send it off in time, but I did track how long it took to make in a small hour-per-hour video. All in all, I really enjoyed this pattern and it gave a lovely result. Next knitting project was the ribbed cable sweater, also a pattern by Knitting for Olive. I made this with the Drops Kids Silk in 2 different colours. I had this pattern pinned on my Pinterest board for so long already, I finally decided to make it this January. Okay, I am taking a break from work. I'm working from home. I'm actually really enjoying the sun that we've been having today. I should definitely go outside in a bit. But yeah, I'm taking a break and I'm working on my sweater. It's going well right now, and I hope it will continue going well. I finished the ribbing of the neck. I made it a bit longer than the pattern says because I just like that. And the yoke was a bit of a struggle. I'm actually mid-row, I should have finished my row first. But yeah, the yoke was a bit of a struggle. I kept misreading the pattern. It wasn't very clear to me when I should be twisting and when not, because I figured it's just a basic cable twist, right? But then at some points the pattern seemed to be saying to twist them twice, which didn't make sense for me. And it turns out I just read it wrong. But sometimes I could really use a full stop instead of a comma in a pattern, which sounds really silly, but I always have trouble seeing like when does this thing stop and the other begin. Like if it says and at the same time do this, does at the same time then carry over to the next part of the sentence or not? It wasn't always very clear. So yeah, that's just, it might just be my brain, I don't know. I haven't read anything about anyone else having issues with that in the project notes on Ravelry that I've read. Now I must say there haven't been too many project notes on this sweater, so much so that I'm starting to consider making my own, because that's something I've been wanting to do a bit more on Ravelry, like really getting into taking the notes and having like the online diary, I guess, of my projects. I'm still gonna see. I should probably then start taking notes already. I've also been dabbling with the idea of actually creating a kind of photo book for all my knitting projects, because I do want like a physical collection of all my patterns, because I just remember, I just thought of the fact that if my PC crashes one day, I don't have the patterns. And it's not like, this is thinking very, very far ahead, but if I ever have kids and they have grandkids and I want to give them a collection of my patterns, I would want to be able to do that and not have to give them like a memory stick, which probably sounds like I'm a bit old. I don't know, it's very normal to give people digital things now, but I remember getting all of my grandma's sewing patterns and these little booklets where she had designed her own patterns. I just love looking at that, and just like the collection and also the thought process that she had while she was writing the patterns. And it's something that I would really want to continue, like a family tradition or something. I've been thinking the same about making a recipe book. Yeah, I've been looking into it this morning to buy just like a Moleskine, maybe a big one that I can just note down all the recipes we make in. I just know I'll have to fight my perfectionist side, because I know it will be really difficult to actually have it not be as tidy or as structured as I would like it to be, but we'll see. I am not keeping to the topic. So yeah, this is going well. It's knitting up really nicely. It's just, yeah, the yoke was a bit difficult, but now that I'm past the short rows, it's fine. I never actually had an issue with any other short rows in a pattern before. This is the first time really, but yeah, it was a good challenge and I'm really liking how it's looking. It's actually looking slightly more defined in the camera now that I'm looking at it than in person, I guess, or on photo. It's just, yeah, the increases are looking good on the shoulder. Yeah, I'm actually really happy with how it's looking. It is quite fluffy. I knew that it's mohair, that was to be expected, but I am really enjoying it and it's so soft already. I honestly cannot wait to wear it. So yeah, we'll see. I do have to start working again, so I'll continue this later on. While I did start this project at the end of January, I was only able to finish it at the beginning of March, so I took a little over a month, but mostly I took a week longer because I ran out of yarn. I think it was because I made the collar a bit longer. I only needed the tiniest bit more for my last sleeve, but I did end up finishing it and loving the way it looked. My first and only sewing project this winter was the Arthur Pants pattern by Sew Liberated. I had actually never sewn a pair of trousers before, so I was quite nervous going into this, and it took me quite a while to decide on the size I wanted to make as well. As it's such an oversized pattern, I didn't want the trousers to overwhelm my figure, but I also didn't want to lose the characteristic wide leg that I loved about the pattern. I ended up going for flannel fabric, which is incredibly soft and lovely to wear and perfect for winter and the colder spring weeks at the start of spring. I did kind of regret choosing a fabric with a pattern on it because it meant taking a lot more care to line up everything up properly while cutting the fabric and sewing, but it was a good test for my patience. Hi, I only just got back from my lunch, which lasted a lot longer than I thought it would because it's 5:15 now. So I won't be getting as far as I wanted with the trousers, but that's okay. I'm actually at the part where I closed the zipper part. I'm thinking I'm doing it right, but we'll see. I didn't find the instructions incredibly clear or the images that they put together, but I think I'm doing it correctly. So I now have to sew close to the zipper and then by the zipper edge, and then we'll see. I'm really taking it part by part, like not reading too much ahead right now because that will probably just confuse me, but yeah, I'm hoping I can manage to get at least the trousers done, the zipper done still tonight, and we'll see what's next in the pattern and if I still feel up for that, if I'm not too tired, to be honest. I did actually really enjoy making this pattern, so much so that I'm considering making another pair in spring in a different fabric, maybe in a linen or something, because I do actually really love how it sits on my body, and in the end I did enjoy making the whole thing. While there were bits here and there that I didn't always find very clear, I think the second time I'll make it, it will be a lot easier and a lot faster. I am also considering making the version with only an elastic waistband instead of also installing the zipper, but we'll see. My last fibre related project this winter was finishing processing all the wool I had spun during the winter. Right before the holidays, I had purchased my Ashford traditional spinning wheel and I've been loving learning to work with it. I first started spinning on a homemade drop spindle about a year or two ago, very casually at first, and then get more and more into it. I still very much see myself as a beginner, and the yarn I've spun is still quite uneven at times, but I'm enjoying learning more by doing it and getting a feel of the different wools I've tried on my drop spindle and now on my new spinning wheel. I ended up processing not only the purple merino that I had bought already combed beforehand, before I had my spinning wheel, but also all of the wool that I had gotten as a birthday present from one of my closest friends, who's also very much into fibre arts. She gifted that to me along with hand carders, So I went through the whole process over the summer and autumn, actually. It was a lot longer. I took a lot longer than I thought I would. Processing the wool, so washing and picking and combing and carding the wool, to then spinning it and now washing it, and eventually hopefully knitting or weaving with it. So the wool I'm showing here is some of the first wool that I've ever spun, and it was funny to look back on that compared to where I am right now, because I can definitely see some things that I would do better now, but I'm still very happy to have that first spun wool and to learn from my mistakes in it. I've made the habit for myself to count all the strands that I have and multiply that by the length of the strands, so I can actually calculate how much wool I have and then see which project I might do with the yarn. Also just to know everything that I've made and just to keep track of it all. I ended up finally deciding to do some more paint work in the house and paint the hallway cupboard that I've always kind of hated. It used to be this very creamy yellow colour that was clearly just very old. The doors didn't fit properly, they didn't close properly, and everything just didn't make for a good looking cupboard. Now we didn't want to replace it because actually a really big handy one for our coats and our shoes, so I decided to give it a makeover. I ended up attaching trim to all the doors and deciding on a deep red colour to paint it. We did have some issues in the whole process because the paint mixer in the hardware store where we went to get the paint was actually broken. So we ended up getting the wrong colour at first. It was only slightly off, but it had more of an orange tint to it, while we wanted the red to be more blue toned. So we did end up getting a second pot and painting another few layers to get it all even in the end. I did honestly very much underestimate how difficult it would be to reinstall the doors again. First because the hinges didn't fit properly anymore after painting it, but also just to be able to lift the doors at the right height to install them back onto the cupboard was not easy on my own. My boyfriend wasn't home at the time and I really wanted to get it done, so I did end up I think piling up a few books and supporting the doors on there so I could easily drill in the hinges without hurting my arms. It did end up working and I'm very proud of that, but I probably should have just waited and asked for help. My last and long-awaited renovation project, for myself at least, was tiling the backsplash in our kitchen. We actually put in a whole new kitchen 2 years ago when we moved into the house and removed the backsplash that was on the wall then because it was honestly quite grimy and totally not in the style that the kitchen would be, and it didn't match up with the correct height of our countertops. So we decided to do it ourselves, and we got the tiles months and months ago, but I was honestly dreading installing them because I'd never done any tile work before, and I ended up being motivated by the fact that my friend tiled her own kitchen floors and I went to help, and I felt ready after doing that to tackle our backsplash. I did tile it over a few days. I remember being a bit ill, and wanting to do something but not really being able to do a lot, so this was a kind of easy project to handle while not feeling my best. While planning this project, we did actually lay out all the tiles on the floor on a template that we had made of the wall, just to be safe in terms of the colours that we had gotten, because we had this off-white beige tile and there were a lot of variations on that colour in one box, and we had 2 boxes, so we laid it out to be sure that we liked how it was looking. And we ended up first installing all of the tiles that were just complete tiles, and then afterwards hiring a tile cutter, and then my boyfriend cut all of those pieces while I put them on the wall. I also didn't always use the wall spaces. the tile spaces, I mean, just because they were also quite finicky. Definitely because the tiles weren't all even. That was the style that we wanted, but we ended up being incredibly happy with the result. We do still have to finish the top, but there will be a shelf above the coffee machine. And in the end, we really love how it looks, how the light hits it, and it just really finishes everything off just as we wanted it to. So those were all the main projects I did that I wanted to share with you in the winter season. I'm very happy that it's spring and I can't wait to start spring projects. I have already started a few and I'd love to share them in the future as well. Maybe in the same format, maybe a bit different. It's a learning process, but I'm very much enjoying it, so hopefully see you soon.